I am presenting for Saruni Basecamp. Like Anne said, Saruni Basecamp is a safari company operating in the Masai Mara, southwest of Kenya, and Samburu. We run a portfolio of 12 properties span around those regions. And our operation is rooted in our main purpose of being custodians of the web of life. We promote responsible tourism that ensures we leave very little impact in terms of negative impact on the land and its people. We offer exclusive experiences to our guests in these regions, obviously delivered by indigenous communities of the Masai and Samburu communities, who we obviously know are marginalized. We're also proud members of the Long Run, with 4 of our camps holding individual memberships, and we're passionate not only about conservation, but we're strong believers that the local communities or the host communities must and should benefit from the tourism revenues. In terms of the challenges that we work to resolve, we're talking about conservation. We have increased human demand, and that's, I think, across board and has been experienced by the most of operators. Increased human demand for natural resources. We have had the challenge of land division, and like Chris mentioned, population growth brings more members in families that want to own their own pieces of land and they want to be independent. There's also been unsustainable resource use, and mainly perhaps because of lack of education or awareness of the benefits that conservation can bring. And that leads to environmental degradation and obviously severe and more severe impacts of climate change as we go in terms of dealing with population increase, this competition of very minimal resources and the use of these resources by the growing population. In terms of community, there's been lack of awareness on sustainable practices. Poverty has been key, and according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, we have figures showing 60% of unemployment rates in some of these communities. There has also been inequality in sharing tourism benefits because not everybody gets to the table where some of key decisions are made or policies are cut. And that has excluded the marginalized communities for the longest. In terms of culture, because of the guests and the nature and profile of guests that we get in our properties and in these tourist destinations, there's always the erosion and the risk of erosion of culture due to Western influences. These communities have traditionally suffered from early child marriages and female genital mutilation, as we know. And livestock has been the main source of livelihood, obviously fostering dependency on that only source of income. In terms of commerce, there has been lack of because obviously not everybody boats and believes or had believed in this model of conservation. And there has also been insufficient infrastructure for responsible tourism and having a lot of resistance from the traditional model of running the tourism business. In terms of resolution, coming to conservation, we came to conclude that the only way it can work is involving the community, and we run community-based conservancies across our regions of operation. We also thought to introduce efficient resource management and use of that which we have from nature, like rainwater harvesting, introducing waste management practices in terms of teaching the community 3 R's of reduce, reuse, and recycle. We build our camps in a way that if we were to unpack, we would leave that area and that specific spot just as we found it. We ensure there's zero impact in the building materials we use. So all our camps are eco-friendly, using eco-friendly materials, and ensure that we also embed eco-friendly practices in our day-to-day operations. In terms of the community, we have endeavored to improve the skill and upskill community youth. We have built a wildlife tourism college, a college of international repute and standards, and obviously upgrading from what we used to have as Koyaki Guiding School that used to offer only guiding, but now the Wildlife Tourism College has expanded curriculum, offering hospitality courses and also wildlife management. We create employment opportunities in our camps. As you see, we have 12 camps across the Masai Mara and Samburu area. And we continue to educate communities and our teams on benefits of tourism and effects on climate change. We include the community, and like I said before, it doesn't work if the community, who are the custodians of the land and the conservation elements that we're trying to get involved in, if they're not involved, then it really would be a futile exercise. In terms of culture, we thought about how to improve or conserve the cultural, the culture of the Maasais and the Samburu, especially, and for Maasai Mara especially, we built an information center. We call it Njolata Information Center. Njolata is a Maasai word, means like Eureka, what has been hidden is revealed. And here we have exhibition halls showcasing the culture, the conservation, and linking the conservation story in terms of the local impact of climate change to the global perspective. And here we allow the local communities as well as our guests to come and have cultural immersion. In this center, we also have a workshop where we preserve the beading culture, and about 250 women come daily apart from 2 days in the week, which is the market day on Wednesday and Sundays, and they go to church and do their bead work, which we sell in our curio shops across the camps. We foster inclusive growth, and to encourage female employment, we have family-friendly facilities in some of our camps where young mothers are allowed to come with their children, fostering inclusivity and ensuring that they are not condemned to being housewives and raising families only as the whole responsibility of a woman in these communities. So we show that you can be able to balance family, career, and also go to use the education that you went to school for. So we really big champions of female employment, and in terms of inclusions of cultural elements in our camp interiors, we ensure that every camp has interiors depicting the local culture or some artifacts from the beadwork or from the community. In terms of commerce, we have sought collaborations and partnerships with like-minded organizations and people. We also involve ourselves with the government in terms of engagement and seeking a position on the table so we can influence policy and implementation of that policy as well. We promote responsible tourism as a sustainable income alternative and got the community buy-in that you're not losing what you traditionally know as the main source of income, but there's an alternative that doesn't force you to actually lose what you traditionally used to. The outcomes of this has been rewarding, I must say. In terms of conservation, we operate in 6 conservancies across the regions that we operate in Mara and Samburu, conserving 1.2 million acres. And in terms of biodiversity conservation, 8 of mammal species in these conservancies have been classified as vulnerable and endangered. 95% of our waste through our camps is recycled, translating to approximately 1,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions mitigated, that is annually. We plant through a guest of 170,000 trees annually, and this helps them offset their carbon through from their travel. All our camps are solar powered, 100%, and we use only biodegradable products in our housekeeping and kitchens. In terms of conservation, we are also key in rhino conservancy. We have in one of our conservancies at Sera in Samburu, a rhino sanctuary, where we have 22 black rhinos, and recently relocated 4 white rhinos and 1 got a baby. So we now are very happy that we have 5 white rhinos at the Rhino Sanctuary in Sera Conservancy. And actually the recent White Rhino Day was celebrated at this sanctuary with the Cabinet Secretary of Tourism in attendance and gracing the occasion. The first company in East Africa to offer a guest on foot black rhino tracking at this Sera Conservancy at the Rhino Sanctuary, which we still do, and is very well received by our guests. In terms of the community, the outcome is over 6,000 families have improved livelihoods with shared drinking water with over 400 families. The World Tourism College has been very successful in not only offering the expanded curriculum, but has turned to a research hub also in partnership with international universities in South Africa and also in Europe. So that is coming up very well with the first graduation happening this year. They just did their exams. In addition, our partnership with this Wildlife Tourism College, we're bringing, previously they could only test bronze certification in this college, but now through our partnerships and pushing with Kenya Professional Guides Association, this year in November, we will be able to see silver and gold examinations offered at this college, which is very rewarding. We also have an internal academy that we call Saruni Basecamp Academy, where we offer youth from the community an opportunity to get industry skills and exposure. Over the last 2.5 years, we have had 100 interns go through this program that runs for 6 months, and 80% of these have been absorbed in employment across our camps and other camps within our regions. 86% of our employees, which is about 350 plus, are from the indigenous communities. The Basecamp Maasai brand, that is a bidding project, supports 250 women and their families. And some of these women are actually younger women who are daughters-in-law of older women, coming to carry on and ensure that this project and this preservation of bead work is sustained and there's continuity. We have conducted, like this year alone, 86% external training we have conducted external training for 86% of our staff this year to date. And obviously most of these are from the indigenous community, exposing them to very technical trainings, and some of which are for international standards in hospitality departments. Our foundation scales and continues to scale our community-based projects, conservation projects, and has been working with 18 implementing partners. And this year alone, we have spent over $2 million in different community and conservation projects and in building livelihoods in key thematic areas touching on education, health, conservation, and all that is on a scaled approach. In terms of culture, our Angelata Cultural Center provides a very immersive experience for guests. We also open it up to students during holidays. various school students come to just learn about wildlife, get exposure to bidding, and also get space to do their homework. And they also interact with our camp managers and heads of departments to just get insights on what hospitality is all about. In terms of the Basecamp Maasai brand workshop, we have, like I said before, 250 women benefiting from this project. These families have now clean drinking water. All of them have tanks, like 5,000-liter water tanks where they harvest rainwater. A lot of them, and almost actually all of them, have clean cooking gas. They use clean energy for cooking now. Before they used firewood, but now all of them have gas cookers. They have solar lamps. The children can do homework with proper lighting. And some of these are the benefits that these women have reaped from these projects. 100% of our guides are local, as we believe it's best that the locals tell their story. And our guides spend most of the time with our guests. And so we feel they are the best to tell their story and what we do in terms of conservancy, culture, and our community initiatives from an authentic angle. We are a local company. 100% of our employees at Saruni Basecamp are local. And by local, I mean Kenyan. We have management at camps. 55% of them are from the indigenous communities, from Maasai and Samburu people. 25% of our employees are female. We are looking to grow that progressively. Like we always say, it's a journey. In terms of cultural support, we observe 1 day per week, which is Fridays, where all our employees dress in traditional attire. If in Samburu, you dress in Samburu traditional attire. If in Mara, you dress in Maasai traditional attire, and we serve local cuisine for our menus on that day for dinner. All our camps and design adopt a cultural element, either from camp design. There are some of our camps that have taken the traditional shape of Maasai or Samburu houses, and interiors all depict some elements of the local culture. We support and we continue to support the annual cultural festival, that is a cultural festival. Last year it was held in Masai Mara at Sekenani, and this year we are hosting it in Samburu in November, and we're expecting about 10,000 people, which is very exciting, which is a very good platform for cultural preservation. In terms of commerce, like my colleague Luis mentioned, managing landowners spanning to over 6,000 landowners is no small feat in terms of administration. So we have over 6,000 landowners who benefit from over $2 million US in tourism revenue annually, and that goes all to the indigenous community. Over 200,000 of our annual procurement is directly from indigenous community, and we do 100% local procurement. The bidding work gets about 64,000 US that goes directly to the women. This bid work, we help them sell through our shops and online, and we only take 25% of the sales proceeds. 75% go to the women directly. In terms of diversity and inclusion, like I said before, 25% of our employees are female, 48% are youth, 53% across board, including our head office, in terms of management, are female. We thrive in external validation because we can really beat ourselves to say we're doing our best, but the best may not be good enough. So we are members of the long run, like I said before, and we are committed to continuous learning and partnerships within long run members and learning from each other and supporting each other. We also seek external validation as members of ecotourism. Of our camps are gold rated for silver, and we recently went through an audit by Tourism Regulatory Authority, which is a government body charged and mandated with regulating standards in the hospitality industry. Again, 4 of our camps were accredited the highest mark of quality, that is gold accreditation, and 4 were accredited silver. In terms of our future and looking ahead, we're very keen on our strategic investments, and having run this model for several years, we're looking to continue scaling the model and perfecting it through new camps and continuous improvement in our current facilities. In terms of conservation, through our foundation, Basecamp Explorer Foundation Kenya, we continue to build conservancies, and not just conservancies, it's community-owned conservancies. The host communities must own the conservation story and must benefit from it. In terms of community, we obviously continue to encourage locally owned solutions, even to the global challenges of climate change, for example, and all the over-tourism challenges that we have had across these presentations. We seek to improve on our CapEx investments by embracing innovation and technology, and obviously continue to embrace emerging trends and leverage on all the upcoming eco-friendly technologies. We seek to prioritize climate change as it is more real than ever before, and I think Kenyans can attest to this, especially this hit closer home this year when we experienced massive flooding in various parts of this country. We continue to build and strengthen our journey in the long run as we continue to integrate the forces in every aspect of our operations across the vast landscape. And like you see, our camps are spread out in these very huge areas, and we want to ensure every camp stands alone and if possible, grow the membership individually and continue to reflect these principles in each and every operation. So that's where we're looking into the future, and continue our commitment as a business and the foundation. Like you see, between the business and the foundation this year or annually, we're funding about $4 million to the communities, conservation and building resilient livelihoods. That underscores our commitment that we need for the long run.